Imagine this. The early morning light barely touches the horizon over Jerusalem. The city is still asleep. The streets are empty. But somewhere on the outskirts, three women hurry through the pre-dawn darkness, carrying spices and tears. They do not know that the next few hours will change the course of human history forever. What exactly happened that day? Minute by minute, detail by detail, in a way no one has ever told you before. I am your guide, and today we will travel together into that very day, the day that divided time into before and after. A day written about in thousands of books, shown in hundreds of films, yet most people still do not know what truly happened there, step by step from the first breath of that Sunday to the final moment of the evening. Stay until the end, because at the end I will reveal a detail that almost everyone misses, a detail that will change how you understand the story. Let's begin. To understand that day, we need to go back a little. On Friday, later called Good Friday, Jesus was crucified outside the walls of Jerusalem on a hill called Golgotha. He was buried before sunset because Jewish law forbade leaving a body unburied on the Sabbath, the day of sacred rest. A disciple named Joseph of Arimathea, a wealthy and respected man, personally asked Pontius Pilate for permission to take the body. It was placed in a new tomb carved directly into the rock, wrapped in linen with spices, and sealed with a large stone. The guard. This is a separate and important detail. The chief priests clearly remembered Jesus' words that he would rise on the third day. So they came to Pilate with a request to place guards at the tomb so the disciples could not steal the body and claim resurrection. Pilate agreed. Official Roman soldiers or temple guards stood watch at the entrance. The stone was sealed. Everything seemed finished. Saturday passed in silence and grief. The disciples scattered. Most hid behind locked doors, afraid of persecution. Peter, constantly reminded of his threefold denial, was broken. John, the only apostle who stood by the cross until the end, remained silent. The women who had followed Jesus from Galilee prepared fragrant oils to return after the Sabbath and properly care for the body, because on Friday they had been in a hurry and could not complete it. And then Sunday comes. The night is not yet over. According to the Jewish calendar, a new day begins at sunset, so technically Sunday had already begun hours earlier. But by our sense of time, it is still deep night, and it is precisely then, in the darkness before dawn, that something happens. Something eyewitnesses spoke about in whispers, struggling to find the right words. The earth trembled. The Gospel of Matthew describes a great and sudden earthquake, and with it, an angel of the Lord descended from heaven. He rolled the stone away from the entrance and sat on it. His appearance was like lightning, his clothing white as snow. The guards were so terrified that they froze and fell as if dead. Notice this moment carefully. The stone was not rolled away so that Jesus could come out, but so that people could go in and see. The tomb is empty. That is the difference. The resurrection had already happened, and now people were being given the chance to witness it. When the guards regained their senses, they did the only thing they could. They ran into the city and reported everything to the chief priests. The priests gathered, gave the soldiers silver, and instructed them to say, "His disciples came at night and stole the body while we were asleep." This version spread among the people for a long time afterward. Meanwhile, the women were already on their way to the tomb. Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome. The Gospels mention different women in different combinations, because there were several of them, and it seems they did not all arrive together. Mary Magdalene apparently left earlier or arrived first. She came while it was still dark, as the Gospel of John says. The women carried spices. On the way, they worried aloud about one thing. Who will roll away the stone from the entrance of the tomb for us? It is very large. They did not know about the guards. They did not know about the earthquake. They simply walked, with grief in their hearts and care in their hands. When they arrived, the stone was already rolled away. And here begins something that cannot be explained by any rational reconstruction. Something each of us must either accept or reject personally, but something that must be heard in its full depth. Mary Magdalene looked inside, and she saw the empty place where the body had been. She did not understand. She assumed someone had moved the body. She turned and ran. She ran to Peter and John, crying out, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we do not know where they have laid him." Peter and John ran toward the tomb. John, being younger, ran faster and arrived first. But he did not go in. He stopped at the entrance, bent down, and saw the linen cloths lying there. Then Peter arrived, and true to his nature, he did not hesitate. He went straight inside. He saw the linen cloth and the cloth that had been around Jesus' head, not lying with the others, but folded separately, carefully arranged. This is an important detail. Then John entered, and he believed. Peter was amazed, but still unsure. They went back, and once again, they left Mary Magdalene alone. She stood outside the tomb and wept. Then she bent down again to look inside, and she saw two angels in white, one at the head and one at the feet, where the body had been. They asked her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" She said, "Because they have taken my Lord away, and I do not know where they have laid him." After saying this, she turned around and saw someone standing there. She did not recognize him. She thought he was the gardener. "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you seeking?" he asked. "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him." And then, one word, "Mary." She turned and recognized him and rushed toward him. "Teacher!" This is the first appearance of the risen one. The first person to see him alive after death and burial was a woman, Mary Magdalene. In a society where a woman's testimony held no legal value, if someone had invented this story to make it convincing, they would never have made a woman the first witness. But this is exactly what happened. Jesus said to her, "Do not cling to me, for I have not yet ascended to my Father. Go to my brothers and tell them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." And she went and announced to the disciples, "I have seen the Lord." Meanwhile, the other women, those who arrived a little later, entered the tomb and also witnessed something supernatural. The Gospel of Mark describes a young man dressed in white, sitting on the right side. The Gospel of Luke speaks of two men in shining garments, witnesses at different times from different angles, each describing what they saw. The angel said to the women, "Do not be afraid. You are looking for Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He has risen. He is not here. See the place where they laid him. But go, tell his disciples," and Peter, "that he is going ahead of you into Galilee. There you will see him, just as he told you." The women ran away, trembling with fear and great joy. At first they said nothing to anyone. They were shaking. They did not know how to process what had just happened. But on the way, Jesus himself met them. He greeted them, and they came to him, took hold of his feet, and worshipped him. And he repeated the same message. "Go, tell my brothers." And now, pause for a moment. Look at the time. Remember this point in the video. If you are watching this with someone, this is the moment to ask each other, what would you feel if you were there? What would you do in Mary's place when the body was gone and a stranger suddenly called you by your name? We continue. While the women were carrying the message, something else was happening in the city. The day was gaining momentum. Jerusalem was living its normal Sunday rhythm. People going to the market, taking care of their daily routines, completely unaware that something extraordinary had already taken place just outside the city walls. Meanwhile, the disciples were hiding. When Mary Magdalene came to them saying, "I have seen the Lord," some did not believe her. The Gospel of Luke states it directly. Their words seemed like nonsense to them, and they did not believe the women. This is a very human reaction. Do not judge them. You would not have believed it at first either. But here is what happened later that same day. One of the most moving moments in the entire gospel story. Two disciples, not from the 12 apostles, but simply followers of Jesus, were walking along the road to a village called Emmaus. It was about 11 kilometers from Jerusalem. They were walking and talking about everything that had happened. Their faces were sad. Their hope was shattered. They said to one another, "We had hoped that he was the one who would redeem Israel." And suddenly a man joined them. He walked beside them and asked, "What are you discussing so seriously as you walk along?" One of them, named Cleopas, stopped and answered with surprise, "Are you the only visitor in Jerusalem who does not know the things that have happened there in these days?" The man replied, "What things?" And they told him everything, about Jesus of Nazareth, about the trial and the crucifixion, about the empty tomb, about the women who claimed they had seen angels, about how some of the disciples went to the tomb and found it just as the women had said, but they did not see him. Then the stranger spoke and said to them, "How foolish you are, and how slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Was it not necessary for the Christ to suffer these things and then enter into his glory?" And beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he explained to them everything written about himself in the scriptures. Imagine that conversation: the road, the dust, the evening sun, and someone, step by step, revealing the meaning of everything they had believed in, but never fully understood. They came near the village of Emmaus. The stranger acted as if he were going farther, but they urged him strongly, saying, "Stay with us, for it is nearly evening, and the day is almost over." So he went in to stay with them. At the table, he took bread, he gave thanks, he broke it, and gave it to them. And in that moment, their eyes were opened, and they recognized him, and he disappeared from their sight. They looked at each other and said, "Did not our hearts burn within us while he talked with us on the road and opened the scriptures to us?" They got up that very hour and returned to Jerusalem, 11 kilometers back, in the dark. They found the 11 gathered together and those with them, and they were already saying, "The Lord has truly risen and has appeared to Simon." Then the two told what had happened on the road and how he was recognized by them in the breaking of the bread. And now in the second pause in the video, look at the time again. We have already gone through most of that day, and I want you to stop for a moment and think. These people did not rush to believe. They doubted. They ran away. They came back. Their faith was born from personal experience, from encounter, not from someone else's words. What does that tell you about the nature of true conviction? Stay with me. The most important part is still ahead. While the disciples in Jerusalem were discussing all of this, that same evening, something happened that the Gospel of John describes with striking precision. The disciples were gathered together. The doors were locked, bolted shut, out of fear of the authorities who might come for them. And suddenly, he was there among them, not through the door, not through a window, just standing in the middle of them, saying, "Peace be with you." They were startled, frightened. They thought they were seeing a spirit, a ghost. But Jesus showed them his hands and his side. He showed them the wounds. He showed them the evidence. And the disciples rejoiced when they saw the Lord. Then he said to them again, "Peace be with you. As the Father has sent me, so I am sending you." And with that, he breathed on them and said, "Receive the Holy Spirit." This is a moment of enormous significance. Not just a greeting, this is a commission. They are being sent back into the world, the same people who only days before had scattered and locked themselves away in fear. But one of them was not there that evening. Thomas was absent, and when the others told him, "We have seen the Lord," he said words that would echo through history. "Unless I see the marks of the nails in his hands, and put my finger into the marks, and place my hand into his side, I will not believe." Thomas is all of us. At some point in our lives, he is all of us. But what happened 8 days later? That is another chapter. Today, we stay in this day, and this day was already coming to an end. So what do we have in the end? From the trembling earth before dawn to the gathering behind locked doors in the evening, this single day contained everything a human being can experience: fear and joy, doubt and recognition, running away and coming back, grief, and something for which there is no exact word. And now, the detail I promised you at the beginning, the one that most people miss. When the angel spoke to the women at the tomb, he said, "Go, tell his disciples, and Peter." Notice that? And Peter. Separately, personally named. Among all the apostles, only Peter is mentioned by name. Why? Because Peter had just denied Jesus 3 times. He broke at the most critical moment. He knew it. He wept bitterly over it. And he had every reason to believe, even if something did happen, it no longer includes me. I have lost my place among them. And yet, the angel calls his name specifically, not to accuse him, but to include him, to say you too, especially you. This is not a small detail in the text. This is the heart of the entire message. The resurrection is not for those who got everything right. It is for those who fell and who may not believe there is still a place for them. For Peter, for Thomas, for the disciples who ran away, for the women who trembled, for us. This day, from Mary's first steps in the darkness to the evening behind locked doors, is not just an ancient event. It is a story about how people encounter the impossible, how they doubt, run away, return, recognize, and go back into the world transformed. Thank you for watching until the end. If this video touched you, please leave a like. It is simple, but it means a lot for the channel. And be sure to write in the comments. Which detail from this day impacted you the most? Emmaus, Mary in the garden, or maybe Peter's name mentioned separately? I'm truly interested. I read every comment. See you in the next video.